The BumbleKast is for entertainment purposes only. The host's comments and opinions, and those of their guests, are wholly their own and do not represent that of any other entity. Content is provided as is, with no guarantees of accuracy or timeliness. Unauthorized redistribution or editing of the BumbleKast in whole or in part is strictly prohibited.
It's a BumbleKast Mini brought to you by our standard question listeners.
520 million year old sea critter asks, a question for both Ian and Kyle. What was the best day of your lives and what made it so special?
That would be my wedding day.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Like, it was wonderful weather for the time of year. We had a small but very personal group of folks there. One of my college buddies showed up literally as the ceremony was beginning. So I watched him just kind of sprint across the yard and almost like slide into his seat right as we began. Absolutely perfect.
Nice.
Everyone was healthy and good spirits. Everyone was lovely. The dinner was nice. The music was nice. And it was a good day.
Yeah.
Also, I got married to the love of my life. That's kind of also a high point of the whole thing.
Sure.
But that's kind of a given.
Sure.
I would hope. Jeez.
I'd say that the best day of my life was actually 4 days. And it was the first time we went to MagFest in 2012. That was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people for the first time. And it was really such a special event. And I'm looking forward to going back. So, yeah. A cartoon fan asks, Ian, are you still interested in pitching a Mario comic series to Nintendo? I mean, would you still do it?
I mean, if the offer was there, sure. I mean, nice to have that feather in my cap, which I guess is kind of a Mario joke. We'll take it. Also, money. Money is good. But I don't know. It's not something I'm chomping at the bit to do, but I would still do my best if the opportunity arose.
And we got a question from Alpha Mono or Yukin. After hearing your ideas for Mario, Metroid, and Star Fox comics, I couldn't stop thinking about this. So I have to ask, how would you handle the plot and outline of a Super Smash Bros. Comic? For the sake of simplicity, it's a quote-unquote adaptation of just the first N64 game.
Okay. That definitely narrows the scope.
Yes, that helps. It's 12 characters versus, 60 whatever they ended up with.
And N64 made it pretty clear that the whole premise is there's somebody playing with toys, taking them out of the toy box, putting them on their desk and just messing around with them.
Right.
And then making themselves the final boss for the epic master hand fight, which I am pretty certain I did as a kid. Here's my X-Men and Batman figures versus the giant hand from space. So I identify with that very, very closely. And keep it simple, just have the characters being plucked out of their respective worlds or into other worlds by the mysterious master hand force, and find a contrived reason for them to fight briefly, because that's what we're here for. But then, they're all heroic individuals, so they come together to find out what's going on, and they defeat Master Hand at Final Destination, and the end. End with the same, I'm done playing, close the bedroom door scenario.
They're not all heroic, are they?
Aren't they?
Isn't Bowser in there?
Nope, he's not till Melee.
Hold on.
It's Mario and Luigi, Pikachu and Jigglypuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah, they are.
Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Are we sure Jigglypuff's a hero?
I don't know if you can land their down special. That's kind of the villain origin story for me.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had that down to a science, dude. He was a nightmare.
Yeah. Kirby is also a nightmare in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess for some reason I thought Bowser was amongst the cast for the original, but nope. I guess Donkey Kong, you could argue, is somewhere in the middle, but at that time he was more heroic. And,
I mean, he's got his beef with Mario, but in his own right, I guess in most of his games, he's just kind of slap around fools who started trouble. He's not necessarily heroic.
Yeah, generally he's heroic, though.
He's not antagonistic. Well, no, because he steals Mario's little robots and stuff.
Well, yeah, he's antagonistic to Mario, but seemingly to nobody else. And Yoshi dodges his taxes, so, you know. All right, Chaos Wind has a question. Ben & Jerry's calls BumbleKast and says it wants to make ice cream based on you, Wild Kyle style, and Bein' Ian. Ben & Jerry's wants you to decide what goes into your flavors. So what goes in?
Maybe mine is just kind of a vanilla chocolate swirl that is so loaded with Oreo cookie that it's kind of debatable if there's still ice cream in there.
Delicious. Sounds pretty good.
Or I don't know if you could actually package this in a way that it would survive and still be good, but there was this dessert place that used to be near where we live, and it shut down, and I will forever be sad because they had this special like ice cream, chocolate, and Rice Krispie kind of mix, so that each bite was almost like a ice cream sundae, but not like super hot, but also had that kind of light crunch to it, and that was
I just want caramel ice cream swirled with marshmallow and toffee pieces, chocolate toffee. I'm here for it. I want it. All right, Gareth S has a question. Is the cat walking on your computer, Ian?
No, my mouse is on the fritz.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because it's like up and down in the dock. I was like, what's going on over there? All right. Question from Gareth S. Ian, what's a better gift to express your love for someone? A parrot or 500 stink lizards?
I think we need to define what you believe love is, Gareth.
Well, I mean, on a relative scale.
I really don't think either is good because 500 stink lizards is pretty self-explanatory.
Stinky.
But parrots live to be like 50 or 60 years old. They have the mental acuity of a toddler.
They're very obnoxious.
They have the ability to open cages and manipulate things, and their face is a can opener, which they will use liberally upon you and anything that is not bolted down. So I think love is neither, really.
Yeah, but what's a better gift? Not the best gift.
I am honestly stumped because both seem atrocious to me. I would be rather offended by both. Yes, stink lizards are lizards that stink, and there's 500 of them. That's a lot of stinky lizards. But parrot is a long-term curse.
I will say getting rid of a parrot is a lot easier than getting rid of 500 stink lizards.
I mean, you got a big enough pressure cooker.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't going to go that far, but all right.
I mean, what else you gonna do with them?
Here's one from Handum F. Regarding the Archie Mega Man comics, we've seen what Concrete Man and Splash Woman were like. Can you say what you had planned for the other MM9 Robot Masters?
Not off the top of my head, because it's been a while. I know that we wanted to introduce at least some of them early on because they were supposed to, have been in circulation for a while, and then they were coming up for retirement in 9. So we needed to establish that they had been around first. But I also feel like at the time we were thinking, well, we've established Concrete Man and Splash Woman, so the idea that they are out there has been established. We don't necessarily have to see all 8 of them. So we might have done that. I'm honestly not sure. I mean, I would love to showcase them beforehand because, more Robot Masters is never a bad thing necessarily. But you also wouldn't want to shoehorn them in there just to tick off a box.
All right, here's one from Joma. What sort of scenes and dialogue do you prefer to cut from your scripts if they are getting a little too long in the tooth? Any tips on keeping writing short and snappy in general?
Do I prefer to cut? Nothing. Cutting is pain because each line of dialogue, each scene has a purpose. Don't you see? Can't you see? Why can't you see? I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
Okay.
But
okay, Frasier.
With dialogue, it's sometimes the easiest thing is to look at what's being said and see how you can just say it more succinctly. Do you need that adverb? Does it need to be that flowery? Can you rephrase it in 5 words or less? And usually you can. It doesn't need to be that poetic. You can cut it back. With larger scenes, that's harder. And it might come down to if there's an incidental scene where you really wanted a moment to breathe, but you don't have that room, so you have to condense it. Or if there's an action scene, just cut out some of the action. Like focus on what are the key moments of that battle. What is it saying about the story? What is it doing for the characters? And just parse it down to the key points and not all the razzle dazzle.
Alrighty. Oh, there's
now
one
you
for
have
me.
A question for you, Kyle. Yes.
Oh boy. All right, hit me.
This one comes from Chrissy Liss. Any thoughts on Jet Set Radio and JSR Future's original soundtracks?
Yeah, I have thoughts. They're fantastic. They're awesome.
Your thoughts or the soundtrack?
Yes. My thoughts are that the soundtracks are awesome. Yeah, I really enjoy them. I like I love the radio presentation of JSR, which makes sense. I mean, radio's right there in the title, but still, I sort of love that underground radio vibe. I've always liked that sort of thing. It's a inspiration to me in a lot of ways, So yeah, I definitely dig it. I'm trying to think of which one's like better, and I'm like, no, they're both pretty much like just Jet Set Radio Future is just more of what made Jet Set Radio's soundtrack great. It's like it's just a continuation. It's not really like, compare one to the other. It's like, yeah, they're all freaking great. So, yeah. I don't really have any thoughts beyond that. They're just
happy thoughts.
They're just banging soundtracks. Like, man, yeah. Put them on. They're good to listen to. Yeah. They work perfectly for the games. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's like it's just that good old Sega arcade style soundtrack that works perfect for what they're using it for. So I'm glad Splatoon kind of picked up on those vibes and ran with them a bit, among other things. And we got a question from Leon D. What Batman characters who do not have an obvious animal theme do you think could be readily associated with an animal? It can also just be DC in general. For example, Harley and Spotted Hyenas.
I can get the Harley comparison. This might be a bit of a hot take, but I would say that Man-Bat has a overt bat theme to him. Just saying. Beyond that, I don't really know. I could maybe see some Snake vibes coming off of Joker. That kind of lean and all that mouth. But I don't immediately associate animals with the characters that aren't already animal themed.
Yeah, like Huntress. What kind of animal are you going to give Huntress?
She's the whole zoo.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense. What is Nightwing supposed to be?
Well, that's just a play off of the scientific name for bat.
I know that, but like still, it's not exactly specific. I guess Huntress could be like a hawk or a falcon, some kind of something like that, but nah, I don't know.
And I've seen depictions of Superman with, a bald eagle for that whole Americana thing, but he doesn't strike me as eagle-like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really think of an animal when I think of Superman. I think of Superman. Like, he is iconic enough in his own right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see it that way. I'm sure others have their own interpretation. So please comment below and tell me what I'm missing that is so obvious.
All right. We got one last question. It's from MGG. For the heck of it, how would you handle a Drogoon and Claus McGee crossover?
Keep it light. Keep it funny. The jangle bell goes off and Claus is in Galaxant and he's like, I don't know what this fun's about. What? Where am I? What? Everybody's weirded out by this very, very tiny, short-necked Ajay. What is that thing? And just have him bumble about with the crew and get into hijinks and jangle bell his way back to normal by the end of it. And again, keep it lighthearted. Keep it fun.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for this BumbleKast Mini.
If you like your question on BumbleKast Mini, you can have one of your own or submit a standard question. Head over to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Catch you later.